Hi, Eloise Ansell here, intuitive healer based in the UK. Hi! So, coming back with another clinic chat today, for want of a better title. Anyone got a better title? I quite like clinic chats, but maybe there's something a bit more funky we could call them. I don't know. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about how our bodies are like emotional filing systems. So, anytime we experience something during our lives, we quite often can have some emotion attached to those events. So, we have an argument, we get really angry or frustrated or full of some emotion, and that memory of the event and the emotion are kind of locked in together. And what happens in our day to day life is it can be little things like stubbing our toe that causes trauma for the body, or it could be something big like an argument. But as we go through the course of a day, we experience lots of things, lots of emotions, lots of little events and stuff that occurs to us that either triggers us, brings up some emotion, could be happy or sad, and we go through the whole day experiencing everything. Now, some of what we experience, we will process all the emotion and the trauma of it while we're experiencing it. So, some people are great about experiencing their emotions, they really feel it in that moment. So I know for me, like I never used to get angry. Anger is an interesting one because we're quite often told not to get angry, so we kind of suppress it and we can kind of hold it in, which doesn't help us to process it. And I remember when I started having a lot of healing work and doing a lot of work on myself, I suddenly got really angry for the first time. I was actually with a man on a call center because I was organising a retreat, and sorry, Sainsbury's, you didn't deliver all the food, and I had loads of people in the middle of nowhere. We didn't have enough food for the weekend. So afterwards, I got really angry and phoned them up. And I, like, in the moment of that phone call, the anger came out, and I was shocked how angry it got. But as soon as the anger came out, and it was just like this kind of explosion, it lasted about 20 seconds. And then I just turned to the guy on the phone and went, I'm really sorry. He's like, no, I know you're frustrated. It's okay. And obviously he's used to people being really angry. But I got the anger out immediately and then it was gone. So I was able to just, have a conversation with him and, apologize. And, it was fine and it was great. But afterwards I was like, wow, that was really cool. I got angry probably for the first time in my life. It was so cool. So I don't run away from anger. And if you look at Chinese medicine and learn about the five elements, anger gets things moving. It's what pumps the blood around the body and gets things moving when there's, if there's like something stopping something in the body, it just blasts through it with anger. So we need anger in our bodies. We can't get away from it. So we can't get away from the emotion in real life either. But when we suppress things, it's like we're trying to push down like a fire. It's gonna explode or burn up at some point. So it's really healthy to experience our emotions in the moment when things happen. I'm quite renowned for crying. If I teach a class or I organize a class or if I'm leaving someone's house and I'm not going to see them for a bit, I will just stand there and cry. And people find it really, they're like, oh, they think I'm getting too emotional about the event. But it's just the grief coming out in the moment. I'm just experiencing the emotion in that moment. It's actually very healthy. And then as soon as I leave, I'm like, I'm fine, I'm done with it, I've dealt with it. And I won't even think about the fact that I'm, because there is no sadness, there is no grief left, it's gone. So it is really fun. Now, if someone dies or something, obviously we're going to process that for a longer period of time. It's not going to be done in 2 minutes. So we can go through loads of different emotions and things during the day. And sometimes we're going to process everything about that event in the moment. And sometimes we don't. So sometimes it is like a bigger event and it's going to take a bit longer to process it. Or we suppress the feelings, or we say we're fine a lot and walk away, or, and we're really not fine because inside your body's going, so we don't always experience everything in the moment. So what happens to all of this? Well, the body still wants to look at it, to process it, and to clear it. So during the night, while you're asleep, your body, between 1 and 3 a.m., which is why it's really important to be asleep by 1 a.m., your body, technically your liver energy, goes through a process of looking at all the events and the emotions of the day and going, did I deal with that or not? If I did, great, let's clear it out the body. If I didn't, let's store it to deal with another day. So your body will actually store all of that emotion and the event, and it will put it into the fascia, the connective tissue of the body. So it could go into a muscle, it could go into an organ, it could go into a bone. And if we look at 5 elements in Chinese medicine, there will be flavors of where we'll put things with a certain feeling. So if it's about grief, we'll probably put it in the lungs or the colon. If it's about sadness, we'll probably put it in the heart or around the heart center. So we've got all of these kind of flavors of where we may put things. So our bodies are clever. They want to heal it. So they put it in the body because, we're going to have that year off with absolutely no stress. I wish. Where the body's going to get to clear all of it out again. But of course that never comes. That never happens. We just have more stress the next day. So we push more and more of these memories and these emotions and things that we haven't processed into the fascia of the body. So over time, it builds up and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And I always see it like if you watch one of those videos on hoarders, like the hoarder next door, or, some of these awesome people who've gone through tragic events, normally some real trauma, and they start to just collect stuff in their homes. And my heart goes out to these people. Like sometimes you watch these videos, and I've seen people's houses where it's like they've got stuff stacked to the ceiling. Some of them are walking or crawling around spaces in the ceiling area. Some of them can't get into bed because it's just physically impossible, or they can't use their bathroom, or it's how people get into that place. And it's awesome, the people that are out there helping them deal with all of the trauma and cleaning their homes, because it's a tough thing dealing with trauma. So even the little stubbing our toe, we're going to store that in the body, and what goes on inside the body is going to be reflected outside of the body. So we can get all of this emotion and memories stored in the body into the filing system, the filing cabinet of the body. And just like a hoarder, we're just going to start stacking stuff up. And over time, as we get older and older, we're going to have more stuff stacked in the body. And if we don't look at our stuff and we don't do any work, or we never do anything to look at all the trauma and the drama and everything that's gone on for us, it's going to stay there. Now, we can live with so much clutter in the body for quite a while, but eventually it can start causing problems. Because if we've got all this stuff stacked up in one old, like say an organ of the body, and we've got all of this stuff in that organ, it's going to make it harder for energy to flow. And if the energy can't get through that area because it's so blocked up with all of this crap, as a technical term, then it's going to get harder for the actual physical flow in that area. So the circulation and things starts to break down. Cells start to degenerate because they can't get rid of all the toxins and everything that's going on. And eventually we're going to get disease or dis-ease in that area of the body. So over time, we can get a joint that gets less flexible, like your hip just gets a little bit stuck because, maybe you went through a period of your life when you weren't very supported. That might be a theme that might get stored in your hip. And so over time, there can be more and more junk in that area, and it just gets a little tighter and tighter. But it's going to take a while to get to that point. So whenever I'm doing any intuitive healing sessions on people, I quite often call it like I'm emotionally decluttering the body. It's like we're just pulling it all out. It's like, what's the priority today? What can we clear? Anytime I'm looking at any area of a body, I'm like, okay, is there any emotion I can get rid of here? There's some memories stuck in this area that we can clear, and we're just pulling it all out. Now, you can do this in many ways through energy medicine, or getting some even counseling and doing talk therapies, or like CBT or EFT. All these great modalities can help to clear this clutter. Even journaling or meditating might be your route. But we need to start getting it out, because if we get older, we can start having some issues because of all this clutter. So the body will clear it out one way or another if it gets the opportunity. Even having a massage can clear it out. If you've got memories in the tissue, get in there with your hands and massage it, and oops, they fall out. If we don't want to forget something and we really want to make sure we don't accidentally lose it, we'll store it in the bone, because you don't often break or fracture bones. But if you do break a bone, it may be to clear something that was locked in there. So sometimes it actually has a practical, weirdly, a practical job. If we do break a bone, there might be a reason there. So to stop that happening, let's do some work and clear out all this emotional junk. Any way that shines for you, any way that catches your attention. I love doing group sessions and group healing for people, because we collectively have got loads of, obviously, we've all got emotions, we've all got trauma, but we can look at themes in different areas of the body and clear it out as a group. And the collective energy really helps to clear all of that in a really easy, natural way. And the way I work, your body only does what it wants if it's a benefit, otherwise it will just ignore it. So you can't do any harm. And I'm very clear on, sometimes actually making a nuance for every single person. So, we've all had fear come up as little kids. You could have been in the supermarket and you lost your mum, or you wake up in the night and you think there's a monster in the room. We'll all have experienced fear at some point in our childhood. So we could clear fear in a certain age, let's say the age of 4, but you might all have different memories of what happened at that time. So we can get in there and let you run releasing your trauma at that moment, even though it's different to someone else's. It's really cool. So if you are wanting to find out more about my group healing work, check out my Freedom Hub. There'll be a link somewhere with this video. And my Freedom Hub is my membership where I do loads of group healing. And you get access to all the old sessions while you're a member. So you can go through 60 plus sessions, whichever one catches your attention, and we can clear some of this emotional junk that we're carrying around. So it's a very quick, cheap, effective way of, for a small price, getting a lot of work done. And there's loads more bonuses, and there's loads of training you can do, and which we cover some emotional clearing in as well. So that's really nice. And so if that interests you, get on the wait list if it's not open, or sign up if it is. And if we get the chance to emotionally declutter the body, grab it. It's so awesome to look at this stuff and clear it out, because over time, as it builds up, it really can cause us problems. So comments, questions, pop them in the comments below, and maybe see you again soon. Okay, have a great day. Bye.